This edition of MacVoices is brought to you by Squarespace. Everything you need to create an exceptional website. For 10% off your first purchase, use the discount code MacVoices11. Welcome to the MacJury on MacVoices. This is the talk of the Mac community, and I'm Chuck Joyner. Folks, this is the second of our holiday gift guide panel, or panels, I should say, where we're talking to some of our friends about what they are going to give the people they care about, or maybe, if the truth were known, maybe things that they are hoping to get. I'm not quite sure which. It seems to always work out a little self-oriented, but that's okay. That's okay. So we have a new panel for you this time, a whole new set of gifts, because, of course, the rules are that subsequent panels can't repeat previous panels' picks. So you'll get whole new ideas of wonderful things to get the people that you care about. So let's go around and introduce this panel. First up, back with us after too long because she's had scheduling problems. She has other priorities, and I completely understand. Nancy Gravley. Nancy, it's great to see you. Thanks so much for being here.
I am just so thrilled to be here. I've missed participating in this.
Yeah, and I love the pin, Nancy. You add a whole new festive thing to the show.
Yes. I'm a Virgo. I can't help it.
So where do the folks find you when you're not serving here on the MacJury?
Well, I write for the Mac Observer. I have a column that I've written for 15 years for older, beginning Mac users called Computing with Bifocals. I review products for the Mac Observer, which is great fun. I get to see the most unusual things. And I'm also president of our local Macintosh users group. I have to give a plug to that. It's called CapMac, Capital Macintosh Users Group, 200 members, and we just do some awesome things.
You do, because I surf your website every month, and you really do. You really do.
So glad you do that.
And I just want to say, 15 years, folks. 15 years.
It's a long time.
Not many people around this business can say that. So it's good to have you, Nancy.
Thank you. And I still enjoy it.
Well, that's good. That's good. Next up, we go to the West for Mr. Steve Sande. Steve, it's great to see you. We haven't talked in entirely too long.
It's been a little while. How are you doing, Chuck?
I'm doing good. I'm doing better that you're here.
Well, I would be doing a lot better, but the Broncos lost last night. And we won't talk about how they had a 24-0 lead at the end of the first quarter, but we won't go down that path.
That's football, right, Steve?
That's football.
Yeah. Okay.
It's Quidditch. Steve's a big Quidditch fan.
Quidditch. Yeah, that was Quidditch.
So where do you hail from these days, Steve?
I'm out of Highlands Ranch, Colorado, the beautiful little suburb of Denver, just to the south of town. And I'm working for the unofficial Apple weblog, tuaw.com, where I've been writing for about 5.5 years now. And just enjoying life over there.
Steve, you're just a pup compared to Nancy.
Yes, I am. No, I mean in terms of writing.
No, it's too late now.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I meant in terms of writing too. Yeah.
Right, I know.
Yeah.
I'm in trouble now.
I couldn't pass that up. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, our third guest I'll introduce to try to get us out of trouble here, Mr. Mike Rose. Mike, help.
I'm sorry. I can't see you up there, Chuck, from the bottom of this hole that Steve dug and that I'm trapped in. Chuck, so nice to see you, and nice to see Nancy and Steve as well. Steve, who I see actually reasonably often by comparison. And I think the last time we actually saw each other in person, it was in the Orlando airport, if I'm not mistaken, or the Orlando Airport Hilton, which is an unusual place to run into a fellow blogger. But that was a great meetup. And Nancy, I think we might have met briefly at last Macworld, but it's nice to see everybody.
Yeah, it's
Good
great.
to see you too.
And Chuck, actually, the last time I saw Chuck was in the Apple Store in San Francisco.
You snuck up behind me too.
we were in the Jambox and other audio section.
Yeah, and as I recall, you took one home too, I think.
I did take a little black Jambox as a pet. Adopted it, and it's very comfortable on my TV shelf right now.
No, that's good. That's good. So, what are you doing these days, Mike?
I am, like Steve, I'm also at the unofficial Apple weblog celebrating 7 years this month with TUAW, which is both amazing and a little depressing since Steve has lapped me in word count by about 750,000 words written, which is kind of depressing, or 300, some ridiculous number of words. I don't know how many. I have to go and look at our stats. Been there for quite a while. I've also did a little bit of writing for Jim Dalrymple over at the Loop magazine recently, and last week I had the honor. Not that this isn't a great podcast honor, and I'm thrilled to be here on the MacJury, but another podcasting experience, which I had long dreamed of, was I appeared on live in person on This Week in Tech with Leo Laporte. I was in San Francisco last week for Salesforce's Dreamforce user conference, and the Sunday before we snuck up to Petaluma, actually not quite having the schedule in hand. We thought the show started taping at 4. It actually started taping at 3. So there was a very hectic drive up the 101 in a rented Mustang to pull up in front of the brick house with a squeal of brakes and dust about 7 minutes past 3. But did get to record the show with Leo in person, which was a lot of fun. And Christina Warren, another TUA alumna and currently at Mashable, was also on the show, so that was a treat as well.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Yeah, I saw you. You look good.
Considering I was basically still on a plane in my head, I had only just stopped moving when I sat down in the chair. I was doing all right. I was a little bit out of it, and but it was a thrill to be there.
Well, we're glad to see you graduated to our show.
I've moved up.
Yeah,
moved up in the world.
And I can't help this, guys, but combined, you still can't meet Nancy's experience level. So sorry.
What can I say?
Correct,
Yeah.
sir.
Yeah.
Well, and what's amazing is that the founding editors of the Mac Observer, Dave Hamilton and his team, are largely still there. I mean, if Nancy's been writing there 15 years, she's part of the original team. So I give a lot of credit to Dave and his very, very friendly and easygoing management style and editorial style. Not many bosses can last that long. So
yeah, very true. Very true. Well, guys, we're here to talk about gifts, and I know you three, so I know that this is not just going to be anything routine, because these panels never seem to be. Sometimes they come right off the wall too. So Nancy, since you have the other two smoked on experience, how about if we let you start out?
All righty. Well, the first thing that I'm recommending is an inexpensive item, because we need some of those. But it's new, and it's something that I think a lot of people are going to want. It's the Kensington PowerBolt 2.1 fast charge for tablets, which lets you charge your tablets in your car. And it works very well. I like this so much that I got some of them for my board of directors. Oops, I shouldn't say that. They might listen.
There goes the surprise.
Yeah. The MSRP is only $19.99, and it really is something that I'm always having people ask me, how can I charge my tablet in my car? And this is the answer for $20.
So is this a cigarette adapter?
Yes, it is.
Okay, but it's specifically for a tablet and
yes.
the iPad for this in this case.
Yes, that is correct. And of course, it comes from Kensington, and I think that they make really good stuff.
That's great. I love it when we get off the ground with a practical example, or a gift, I should say. That's great. Okay, very nice, very nice. How about if we just continue in the order, at least for this round that we started? Steve, what do you got?
Well, my first item on the list is something that I just ended up getting, I think, last Friday. And I know Mike Rose has written about it in the past, so hopefully it's not on his list as well. But that would be the Dropcam Pro, $200, which isn't exactly a low-price gift. But I was in the need of a new and somewhat better webcam we like to keep an eye on the house and our cat when we're on trips. And I tell you, I was really, really, really impressed when I read Mike's write-up on Tua. And that forced me to go out and spend $200 to buy this camera. It's great. It is very sharp image quality. It'll do an 8x digital zoom. It's got a super wide field of view. And in terms of setting it up, you can do it from an iPhone or an iPad, and literally took less than a minute to get it set up and running. So for anybody who's interested in either setting up a webcam of some sort or, security camera like that, perfect gift. And by the way, this allows two-way talk. So if you happen to be, at work and you're babysitting the pet at home, you can talk to your dog or cat.
Cool.
Steve, I've seen this, but I haven't researched it. Is there one model, or do they all have the infrared LEDs for the night vision?
I think they both have the night vision now, both models that they're selling, but the Dropcam Pro goes with a slightly wider field of view. And I hate to say I don't know what the other major feature is that bumps the price up. Maybe
I think it's the smart zoom. I'll double check though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which is really cool, by the way. So
Yeah,
you can kind of tap on the image and things get sharp.
Well, I've seen some of the footage from this, and I was particularly interested in the infrared, and it's surprising, what those infrared LEDs do. That it looks better than most of the night cam things you see with camcorders and even cameras. So, and I guess
it's crazy. It's crazy. The night cam, basically the two models are pretty similar, but the Dropcam Pro has twice the zoom, twice the resolution, better low light, way better audio, and the two-way audio. But I mean, both of them are excellent products. It just depends on what you want to do. The zoom is crazy. I mean, if you're on an iPad and you sort of highlight CSI style a part of the image, like you're at full wide, and you highlight a quarter of the image and say, this is where I want to go. It zooms in, and then there's a little enhance button, and you hit that, and it's like an actual person of interest surveillance camera kind of thing. It's really really neat, little creepy and really awesome. Do you guys know the story behind how the Dropcam was developed? The reason that the founder started that company?
No.
Little story. His dad, who is an engineer, this is the founder's father is an engineer, and he had a problem with a neighbor's dog pooping in his yard. So he thought he would rig up a HD record, hard drive recorder, PC, and camera, and a guy with an engineering background couldn't make it work, could not make that Rube Goldberg setup work, and said to his son, "Why is this so hard?" And the son said, "Aha, there's a product here." And so that's where they sort of focus on property, pets, and parenting, and those are the three P's of Dropcam in their market. So they're doing very well.
Interesting.
Yeah, I got to admit, I've tried a ton of different webcams over the years, and in terms of ease of setting it up, this has to be number one. It was just incredible. The quality is great. Everything about it so far, I am just thrilled with. So that was the reason I put it at the top of the list. It is well done.
Good.
And if you have an iPhone 4S or higher, you can actually tap it. It has Bluetooth Low Energy support, so if you want to set it up with your iOS device, you tap the camera with your phone. Gently tap the camera with your phone.
Wham!
Yeah, that voids the warranty. But really neat product, really neat engineering, and they've done some fun stuff with it. So
Yeah, nice pick.
good job, Steve.
And thanks for the support there, Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
Supporting Steve.
Thank you, Mike.
The two Wah boys stick together. Okay, so Mike, it's your turn to pick, and Steve's turn to support, I guess.
Excellent. Well, and since Steve picked a product that I have reviewed, I think I'm picking a product that he's reviewed, which is the Doxy Go scanner. And this is a Doxy. For those who've seen their products before, they make scanners in the single sheet feed mode, which Neat has a Neat Receipts product is similar. It scans one sheet at a time in color, black and white. Fujitsu has a similar product. But what's neat about the Doxy Go is that it's designed to work untethered. It works it scans to an SD card. That SD card, if you like, could be an iFi card for Wi-Fi support. It creates searchable PDFs, and it works with all the cloud services that you're already using to manage your scans. So Dropbox, Evernote, all sorts of fun stuff. And it is, again, a little expensive. It's about a $200 product, but the degree to which paper is taking over my life means I need some help. I've used the Neat products. I've used Neat's fast document scanner. I've used scanners that are attached to printers. I bought new printers because they had document scanners. Something like this where I don't have to tether it to my computer all the time, but I can just sort of crank through stuff as I'm going through the mail, and then just pull it out and post-process all the scans. That's really what I need. So that would be on my gift list, and I'm sure would be a great gift for anyone in your life who is dealing with paper clutter.
Mike, are you talking about the wireless one, the completely wireless one, or?
There are three models. So there's two models of the Doxy Go, which are one is disconnected because it scans to an SD card, and if you add in a Wi-Fi enabled SD card, the iFi, then it becomes the wireless and disconnected one. They also have the Doxy One, which is the older model, which does have to be connected to a USB to your computer to scan.
Got it. Good pick.
Thank you.
Yeah, paperless is a hot topic, and I don't know about you, but I don't think it's one of those that's just fashionable. I really think things are going that way as much as possible, because I find myself using less and less paper, wanting less and less paper. There was a time you used to print out things because it just made sense, and now with the iPad, you don't need to do that anymore.
And I do just want to qualify, double check that the Doxy One is also cordless and scans to an SD card. The Go, which is the newer model, has a built-in storage and also has double the resolution. So that's the differentiator between those two products. And Steve, you any opinions on the Doxy? I know you've had one to put through its paces.
Well, actually, if I can throw out another suggestion, it was actually later on my list. Doxy just came out with a new version of their scanner. It's called the Doxy Flip. And this one is a little bit different. I mean, I've seen their scanners in the past. I've tried them out. I've liked them. This one I absolutely loved. The Doxy Flip is a very small, and what I mean by small is the screen's about that big, so you could just put my head in there. No, anyway, it's battery powered like the other devices, but it's a flatbed scanner, and it's a flatbed scanner with a little bit of a difference. You can not only put items on this little, top of the flatbed bed scanner, but you can flip this thing over. You take the little door off of the top of it, the little, looks like a copier
lid.
Door or something, lid. Yeah, you flip it over. You use this window in the back of it to line it up on whatever you want to scan, and then you just press the button on the side and it scans it. Same type of thing. It's also set up for primarily non-connected use. They want you to be able to go in and just scan to your heart's content to an SD card, and then either put that into your iPad SD card reader when you get that little extra kit from Apple and buy it, or you can stick it into your iPad, or your iMac, or your MacBook, whatever you happen to have, or as Mike pointed out there, it works really, really well with any of the iFi cards. If you want to turn it into this, scan and immediately send it off to your Mac type of setup. Very, very cool product. This is actually $149, and seriously, it was one of the more exciting products I've seen in terms of scanners in probably the last year.
Very nice. Very nice. So we have a lot of options for portable scanners. Well, my pick is going to be something that I argued with Mike about in the Apple Store the last time we saw him. He bought one option for a Bluetooth speaker. I suggested another. He didn't listen, but that's all right.
he never listens.
It was
that
his
guy.
mistake. My pick is the Logitech UE Mobile Boombox Bluetooth speaker. I found this sounds, at least in my opinion, I think it's probably a little better than the Jambox because it seems to have a little more punch. It's very compact. It is, the corners and all the edges are very much rounded, so that if you're throwing it in a backpack or whatever, it doesn't catch on any of the mesh or whatever. It can be used as a Bluetooth speaker phone if you want it. I mean, it's not really great for that, but it's probably no better or no worse than any of the others. But the big thing here for me is that it's about half the price at this point. In fact, it's gone down since Mike and I met and argued over it. So really, you can actually buy basically two for the price of one Jambox, and they have added the feature that you can do a stereo pair now. That you can tweak them so that if you get two of them, you can do a pair. Don't misunderstand. They're not going to replace any of your home speakers or anything like that. But for the purposes Mike's probably putting it to, the ones that I put it to, throw it in my pack for a hotel room or anything like that, it will more than fill a hotel room. In fact, it'll probably annoy the neighbors. So for my money, it's a really nice little speaker, and I just prefer it. And that doesn't mean that the Jambox is a perfectly good choice, Mike. And I appreciate you stimulating the economy.
My pleasure.
So that's round one. Diverse set of picks. Nancy, how about if you start us off again with round two?
Okay. I'm going to win the prize, okay, for the most unusual practical recommendation. Okay, so let me just put that out there. The product that I'm talking about is made by Power Practical, and it's called the Power Pot. POWERPOT.
First one I have to scratch off my list. Darn it.
It will heat. It will generate electricity with water and heat. You can take it camping and put it over a campfire. You can use it in times of emergency. I would suspect that when Hurricane Sandy hit, there's some people that wish that they had it. It's got a heat-resistant cord. It puts out 5 watts of on-demand power. It measures 4.5 inches by 4.5 inches, so it's not a big thing that you have to lug around, although it does come with a little bag. And it even has a top on it that you can flip over and use it to heat stuff while you're generating your electricity.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah, and it's 150. Yeah, it is cool. It's really cool. It's $149. It only weighs 30.3 ounces. So
Whoa.
You're getting all this stuff, and I just think it's an amazing product. It's not anything I need, but I think there's a lot of people that do need it.
And so, Nancy, what is it? Where is this coming from? Is it's using water and what?
And any kind of heat. You can use it on the stove. You can use it on a campfire. You just have to have something that's making heat that you can put water in the pot, put it on the heat, let it heat up. And as I said, it's got a heat-resistant cord, and it gives you electricity.
Wow.
It can run, let's see, it can run, give me a second here. It can run standard Mac products and it all the way up to lithium-ion batteries. And it's solid state.
That sounds like a nice piece of emergency equipment.
Yeah, or a good thing for somebody who goes camping, wants to be able to use their iPhone or whatever.
Yeah.
Last year for the holidays, my wife got me the BioLite stove, which is a similar product that it does provide a mobile device charge, but instead of sitting on another heat source, it actually is a stove. You burn sticks in it, and it charges your phone off of a thermocoupled fan that's in there that generates a little bit of electricity. So similar approach, but the Power Pot was on my list, Nancy, and you bogarted my Power Pot. So,
but with the thing that you have, you can't cook your supper.
Well, you can. It's a camp.
you can?
stove.
Okay.
So it's
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
you'd have to put a pot on top of it to cook the supper. Whereas with the power pot, you put it around something else that you are actually using to cook supper.
Right.
So it depends. If you're an urban dweller who has a gas stove, yeah, in an emergency, if you have gas service, you can still charge up your phone. And you're absolutely right. Hurricane Sandy and several other natural disasters. The snowstorm a few years ago, when the power goes out. One thing that people don't necessarily think about is how are you going to keep those mobile devices charged that you need to be able to stay in touch with family and keep track of emergency response. So there's a number of ones now that run off AA batteries or that are crank driven. Eton has a number of crank driven ones, but the power pot, those are just cool. I mean, those are just neat to do.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, the one thing that the BioLite definitely has going for it, though, is that it doesn't require that, like you said, that external heat source, or I think they also have a propane stove version of it. This, the BioLite burns, as they put it, burns sticks, pine cones, pellets, and other biomass. If it got to the point you could probably pick up, dry grass or something and put it in there as well, and it would still generate that little bit of electricity as well as hopefully boil water for you. So, but both of those absolutely great ideas. Yeah. Very, very good.
Well, hopefully we're not preparing for the apocalypse here, but if we are, it's nice to know we have options. Not this week.
Right.
That'll be the week and a half from now.
Steve, how about you?
Yeah, I've been. I don't know, probably since Fitbit first came out, I was one of their, first trier outers, one of their first reviewers, and actually used a Fitbit. I'm not sure if it was called the Ultra, the original one. It was a little clip type thing. And that finally died this year. And fortunately, at about the time it died, they came out with the new Fitbit Force. So it was like moving from one to the other, staying within their infrastructure. And this on my wrist is what the Fitbit Force looks like. It's just a small band. It has I don't know if you'll be able to see it here or not, especially if I can't push the button, but you can see it's got a little OLED display on there that'll show you the number of steps. It'll show you the time. If you happen to set an alarm, which is something you can do, actually have a noiseless or a vibrating alarm on your wrist. You actually set that from the iPhone app, and it'll show you on the watch when you have alarm set up. And there's some other things, the number of flights of stairs that you've gone up and down. The Force is $130. It'll do steps, distance, estimated distance based on how tall you are and how long they think your legs are at that point. I think I said stairs climbed, calories burned. It'll do an estimate of that. And then how many minutes per day you've been active, which for me is usually like 3. I love that little OLED display. It's unobtrusive. The battery life on this thing is absolutely amazing. Generally, it's been going for about 2 weeks between charges, which is not bad for a activity tracker. It's sweat, rain, and splash proof. They don't recommend that you wear it into the shower, but it does a pretty good job there. And I've just been happy as heck with it. I think they did a kind of a bang-up job on getting this one designed and put out there. I'm still waiting, however. They're supposed to be coming out with a firmware update that will allow this to notify you when your iPhone is getting a phone call. It'll just buzz on your wrist. So kind of looking forward to that just because it's there. No practical reason, but it would be fun to use.
Very, very nice.
And that's another one I have to cross off my list. Thanks.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We talked about this.
Maybe you should let him go first next time.
Next time.
No. I'll just sit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But there seems to be a lot of competition still in this space. It's going to be interesting to see, how this develops and if Apple starts to play in this with any currently unannounced products. But this seems to be just so popular that it's hard to believe that they won't at some point.
That's true.
Mike, quick, give us a pick before somebody else takes it.
Yikes! I'm telling you. Well, one of the ones that I saw, there are a couple. There's always interesting products over on Quirky.com, which are the user designed and crowdsourced products that they put out. They've got a great partnership now with GE, where they're trying to put together some connected products. They have a home sensor now in their Wink line, which looks really interesting. But that's not what I picked up from Quirky, or would suggest picking up. It's instead something called the Digits, and they are conductive pins for your winter gloves, so that you can put them in the fingertips of your gloves and then be able to use your phone with these pins in your gloves. I'll throw the link into our internal chat so you guys can take a look at it. I've seen a lot of sort of conductive and thermosensitive gloves and not been impressed with the glove part, with the glove bit. And I think that this is nice because it lets you customize your own gloves the way you want, and stay warm and toasty. And especially with the weather that we've had over the past couple days here in the city, I would say this is a good idea. It comes with 4 pins that you can put on, so you get finger and thumb on both hands. Now, obviously, if you have an iPhone 5S and you try to use your Touch ID unlock, that will not work with gloves on. You will have to remove your gloves in order to do that, but everything else should work fine.
So, Mike, for the audio listeners, are these, when you say they're pins, is there something that is pinned on the outside and then, or is it pinned on the inside, or how does this work?
It's like a lapel pin where there's a little piece of there's a little base on the inside, so that you actually are connecting it through the finger of your glove, so that the pad is on the outside, and then there's just a little bit of a base on the inside. And they provide what looks like a tool for placing it in your glove. And there's a little video there where you can see how that works.
Okay. Very, very interesting. Very interesting. I like the idea of being able to customize them to my gloves instead of having to, like you say, decide how somebody else thinks the gloves should fit or what they should look like.
Yep.
Nice choice.
And they're not expensive. They're $12. So it's and I don't know now. I don't know if that's 12 for one. It looks like there's 4 per set. But let's see. Yes, there's 4 per set. So it's $12 for 4 digit buttons, and that's a pretty good deal.
Yeah, that is. Well, I'm going to take this round, and I'm going to challenge everybody for the most expensive pick on this show, because I want to pick the Drobo 5D.
Yeah.
5D? Yeah, 5D.
Yeah.
I've used Drobos now for a long time. I've loved all my Drobos. The FireWires were great. The USBs were great for their time. But the 5D really takes it to the current and next level with a Thunderbolt interface, Thunderbolt and USB 3. So if you have something that's not Thunderbolt, you can still get the speed, but the Thunderbolt just makes a world of difference. And Drobo has done a couple extra things this time. You can get an SSD to act as basically, I guess, a buffer, so that it even goes faster, it seems. It's for me, Final Cut Pro is what I use it mainly with, and it's just, I just don't, nothing hesitates anymore. I just do it, and it's wonderful. And of course, you still have the Drobo reliability where you can set it up for 1 or 2 drives to fail, and it just keeps on going. So it is, it's a little pricey. It's about $670 empty. So, you have to populate it with drives. But when you start doing the math, it's just not that much for, if you were going to start buying good drive cases individually and start stacking them up, it's not that much more money. And I tell you, it's just the technology to keep you from losing data is phenomenal. I've never lost data with a Drobo. So,
now,
and
Chuck, I have an aging Drobo 4, the FireWire 800 model, that's got 4 drives in it now. Do you happen to know if I can migrate those drives into a new chassis without reformatting and losing data?
Mike, I'm going to say a qualified yes, you can. And
Okay.
I say
Awesome.
the qualified because I don't know which drives you have inside. And Drobo has a guide on their website that says, what drives they recommend for use with which ones. Like I know some of the things that they suggest putting in the 5N, which is the networked version, aren't a good idea for the 5D and vice versa, I think. So there's just that much qualification that I'd say, check that beforehand. But otherwise, yeah, you can migrate a full disk pack right over.
You may have just cost me $700.
I told you, we look to you to stimulate the economy, Mike.
Well, it's my current Drobo is about half full and loaded with a couple, 3 2-terabyte drives and 1 3-terabyte drive. And the thing about buying a new Drobo is always like, I have to find, where am I going to find 5T or 4T of space to back everything up, not to mention the week it's going to take to get everything off there. So if I can actually migrate it from one chassis to another, that would be very interesting.
Yeah.
All right.
Well,
I'm not doing it today.
Let me say a note about Drobo. I don't use one myself, but our Macintosh users group entered a international contest last year, and we won 25 Drobos. For the
Wow.
For the purpose, our reason for entering the contest, and I think one of the reasons we didn't win. There was 4 winners, 4 different organizations that were winners, and because they gave away 100, and we got 25 of them. And our purpose in doing that was to be able to give them to nonprofit organizations here in Austin that needed to be able to, like the history group. They've got bazillion things, and they didn't have the technology to be able to back any of that stuff up. And so we gave those to those groups, and then we helped them set them up. So we had a lot of experience in working with these Drobos, and everything worked perfectly.
Yeah. And Mike, to your point about the migration, and this is, I don't think Drobo would recommend this, but it does work because I've done it, where if I have 2 Drobos side by side, okay, and so I pop a drive out of one and put it in the other. And actually, I think you have to have 2 for any Drobo, so you have to start with one, but then put the second drive in the new Drobo, let's say. And of course, your old Drobo starts blinking and going crazy and saying, it needs to have a drive replaced or it's working on the data. But then you can copy data from the old Drobo over to the new Drobo. And then when things settle down a little bit and you get the green lights again, you pop another drive out, move it over, things go crazy, and you start to copy again. But, and that's a cheat. But if you're going to migrate the full disk pack, you should be able to do that.
Wow. All right. Adding to my wish list now.
Happy to cost you money.
Is your wife listening to this?
No. And I don't think she's in a place where she's planning to buy me a $700 RAID array. Here, this is so romantic. I bought you a RAID array.
Now, some people would think that if they want
some people. Well, I will get to what she did get me. So that's one of my next picks.
Right.
Okay.
Ooh, got to hear about this.
All right, well, then for this round, Mike, how about if we start with you? That way you can't get your pick stolen. And, of course, you just analyzed us, so now...
I just analyzed you. Well, this was a birthday gift, but I recommend it. And I recommend it actually in part because it's in the news today. You may not be able to get one for too much longer. So if you're interested, you should go ahead and do this now. A DNA analysis kit from 23andMe. Yeah. The company founded by Anne Wojcicki, who's the... semi-estranged wife of Sergey Brin, the Google co-founder, and I'm probably mispronouncing both their names. But 23andMe is a company that is doing a saliva DNA analysis kit for $99. You send them $99. They send you a kit. You spit into it. You send it back, and they're not doing a full. They're not sequencing the full genome. What they're doing is they're looking at a large number of SNPs, single nucleotide polymorphisms, which are basically a flipped switch in the human genome. You have specific spots in your DNA, in your genes, where it's either left or right, up or down, on or off. And those single bit changes, those flipped switches, actually are markers for many heritable or heredity influenced diseases. They're markers for actual ancestry. They're markers for hair color or hair curliness, or whether or not you can taste things that are bitter, or what kind of earwax you have, whether it is dry or wet, which I just learned today. So really, it's a tremendous amount of information, and what 23andMe is trying to do with that is build a corpus of genetic information about their customers, which then they're going to be able to use to help diagnose and predict disease, and help people know what, for example, what kind of medications they might be sensitive to. So really a tremendous amount of information. I actually just got my report today. I sent in the kit a few weeks ago, learned all sorts of stuff, including that earwax tip. And for $99, it's a great, it's really interesting and a great way to learn more about not only your own health in your own body, but also where you come from, where your ancestors are from. You get both a maternal and a paternal type. There's a full ancestry map, which I'm still waiting on. But as of today, the future of the company is a little bit in doubt. The FDA sent I would say, a extremely sternly worded letter to 23andMe. And this was news today, that they have 2 weeks, 15 days to stop marketing their product, because they have, over the past 2 years, failed to come to an understanding with the FDA about getting it approved and certified as a medical device. The FDA is very concerned that people may be taking information from the 23andMe report, which may or may not be accurate or diagnostic, and using that to make serious medical decisions. For example, if they were told that they were a carrier for a breast cancer gene, they might make serious decisions about prophylactic surgery, for example, to prevent cancer, that they should not make without counsel from a physician. Certain states, including New York State, where I live, have made it illegal to use or mail in the 23andMe kit. So if you're in one of those states, you're either out of luck or you have to have it delivered somewhere else and use it somewhere else. But a really interesting piece of information. And to Steve's point about the Fitbit Ultra, part of the quantified self movement, I guess, but also just really for anyone who's curious about genetics, about health, and about what makes us who we are, just a fascinating gift. Great website, great tool. And I can't say their iPhone app's particularly awesome, but everything else is pretty neat.
My daughter gave me this for my birthday recently, and I just got my reports back. And mine was pretty generic, but my daughter also got one, and she has some really significant inherited things like gluten intolerance, celiac disease. They nailed it. They absolutely nailed what her hereditary things could be. And it is indeed fascinating. Yeah.
And it's really interesting to see also the things that you may be at lower risk for.
Yes.
I might be at slightly highly elevated risk for a particular type of cancer, but might be at dramatically lower risk for, Alzheimer's or a particular kind of arthritis. And at my age and with young children, I had already done a certain amount of genetic testing when my wife and I decided to have children, because I wanted to make sure I wasn't a carrier for any of the common hereditary diseases. But this is a much, much wider arc, and a lot more information and a lot more in play. Again, to the FDA's point, not necessarily something to be taken on lightly. Not really a stocking stuffer, but certainly something that you can glean a lot of information from and take a lot of value out of.
I just would like to point out one thing. Is this the romantic gift that you were talking about?
More romantic than a Drobo is what I said.
Okay, so let me get this straight. Drobo, spit into a cup and mail it away. Drobo, spit in... I'm not so sure, Mike. I'm not so sure.
Look, we've been married a long time.
Well, I think it was a wonderful gift, okay? But I would say, don't I would make sure the person that you want to give this to really wants it, because some people might really not want to have their DNA on record anywhere. So I wouldn't just, arbitrarily go out and buy one for all your cousins. But for people who want to do it, it's just fascinating. And because I'm a twin, I get a lot of I've gotten a lot of extra questions coming my way because they're building that big database.
Yep.
Interesting. This edition of Mac Voices is brought to you by Squarespace, the all-in-one platform that makes it fast and easy to create your own professional website or online portfolio. For a free trial and 10% off your first purchase, go to squarespace.com and use the discount code MacVoices11. That's MacVoices11. What are you going to do over the holiday? Eat some turkey? Watch some football? Build a website? Build a website? You might associate that last one with work. And it is work if you're using anything but Squarespace. With Squarespace, building a website is not only easy, but dare I say it, fun? Why is it fun? Because you start right out of the gate with a great-looking website because you start with a great-looking template. Give it a title, and boom, you're done. You can go back for more turkey, if you want to be done. Or that could just be the beginning. Customize your site with your colors, your layout, everything that screams you. What will your website be? Holiday recipes? Photos from the dinner table? Video from the touch football game afterwards? It doesn't matter because Squarespace can make a site with any focus you want. And you can change your mind as easily as changing a template. Or keep the same focus and just give your site a new look. Today, tomorrow, next week, it's all possible with Squarespace. And it's all fun with Squarespace. Or maybe you don't even want to get out of the easy chair to post your thoughts. The brand new Squarespace blog app lets you use your iPhone or iPad to draft, edit, and schedule your post from wherever you are. It's all just that easy. More important, it's just that much fun to play with your website. So stop working when you should be playing. Visit squarespace.com and get a 14-day free trial for the holiday, play with your new site, and then make it your own and get 10% off with the code MacVoices11. That's 10% off your first Squarespace purchase with the code MacVoices11. Who else would tell you that setting up a website is fun? And when you've built that first website and saved that first 10%, let me know at chuck@macvoices.com. I want to see what you've built, and I want to know how much fun you've had. And of course, we'll feature your site here on Mac Voices. Squarespace, everything you need to create an exceptional website. Thanks to Squarespace for sponsoring this edition of Mac Voices. Steve, you're up.
Let's see. Now I got to go back to my list here. This is actually something I just found out about yesterday, and I think you've probably heard this before, Chuck, but I tend to have a kind of a addiction to really nice computer bags, which means that I have a lot of computer bags that I've kind of collected over the years, and occasionally I'll swap them out just to do this type of thing. Well, there's a company up in Minneapolis by the name of Pad and Quill, and they make in the past they've made these really cool little iPad cases and iPhone cases, and I'm looking around here because I think I've got one somewhere in here. Well, it's lost, but anyway. They do a phenomenal job of making their products. For instance, their first line of products was something that was supposed to be similar to the Dodo cases, which were the book type cases. Except the folks at Pad and Quill went way beyond that. They do leather tooling on the exterior of the case. The woodwork in there is done with Baltic birch, and it's just beautifully finished. Everything about their cases is just, top notch. And So I got an email from them yesterday, and it was for a new series of bags that they're coming out with, computer bags, basically designed to fit up to the 15-inch MacBook Pros. And these things are just absolutely incredible. They're not cheap, but when you have something that's probably going to be the last bag that you will ever need to buy, maybe it's worth the price there. They have 3 on the market right now. They're actually just taking pre-orders and should ship them sometime in December. But they have one that's kind of a satchel, another one that's a field bag. In other words, it's kind of more vertically oriented. And then they have a messenger bag. And all 3 of them are just, like I said, on top of it, $309 to $369. And gorgeous, just absolutely gorgeous. So if you really wanted to get something extremely special for someone, I would say this is probably one of those gifts. Once again, that's padandquill.com, and they're the crafted leather bags, $309 to $369. Just absolutely beautiful looking.
Very nice. I'll have to go check them out, Steve. Thank you.
I'll send you a link here.
Oh, I just thought you were about to send me a bag. Okay.
I wish I had one.
Yeah. You do. You just lost it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Nancy, how about you? What do you got for us this round?
Okay. I have been professionally and in-depth reviewing iPhone cases since the first iPhone came out. I have probably looked at hundreds of iPhone cases. And the one that I'm recommending tonight is probably the best iPhone case that I have ever seen. It's from a company called ID Americana. ID America. And I was not familiar with their products at all. This iPhone case is leather. It's yummy. It feels so good, and it's not slick, so it won't fall out of your pocket. It's got enough texture to it that it'll stay in your pocket. All the ports are there. I mean, all the holes are there except the loud and soft ones. But the case is so soft. It's simple to push the button. It comes in 6 colors. It comes in black, brown, orange, red, navy blue, and white. There is a card slot on the back, which is not a feature that I personally use, but I will point out that this card slot is actually big enough to hold a card, because a lot of the iPhone cases that come with slots for cards, you may be able to get your card in there, but you can't get it out until the grocery clerk has already finished and ready to go on another person, and you're still sitting there trying to dig that card out. This one is big. It protects the phone. The corners are not completely covered, but it's got ridges around it, so that if you dropped your phone on a corner, it would still be protected. It's totally easy to get it in and out, which is a big issue for me, because a lot of the cases that I look at, it's easy to get them on, but you start trying to get them off, and you need a crowbar, which means you're going to ruin your phone. And since I have to test so many of them, I get really irritated with that. It's just a lovely case, and it's only $35.
A bargain.
Yes, it is indeed a bargain. But I use the word yummy to describe it because it is so soft, and for anybody who likes the feel of things, they will love the way this case feels. I recommend it to anybody.
Nice.
Very good. If I can just make a point, Mike.
Mm-hmm.
Leather and yummy as opposed to spit in a cup. I think you need to take some lessons from Nancy. I really do.
I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just gonna sort of let it lie because frankly, leather and yummy when you're talking about an iPhone case, that's a little racy.
Well, I live to serve. What can I say?
Yeah. I just thought I'd bring it up.
Thank you for pointing it out. Thank you for encouraging me to tip over into the shame spiral that I already found myself in. Thank you.
Oh man. Well, I guess my next pick is something. It's gotten a lot of. There's been a bit of controversy around it, and I think we have to recognize that not everybody needs the top of the line all the time. And so, if you have someone in your house that is ready for a new phone, but maybe is just not ready for a full 5S, I think the iPhone 5C is a real nice option. I was going to start this out by saying friends don't let friends buy Android, but I'm not going to do that, even though I just
why
did.
not? Yeah.
Yeah, even though I just did. I know several people that have gotten the 5C, and I have to tell you, when I put it in my hand, I mean, I have a 5S, and it's a great phone, and I wouldn't change it for a second. But I'm surprised at just how nice the 5C feels in my hand. It does not feel cheap. Everybody's been saying plastic cheap, Sorry, I don't buy it. It just feels good. It feels different, but it feels good. And of course, it's in some ways it's a marginal step up from the last iPhone, the last top of the line iPhone, but it's got a great camera in it. Of course it is an iPhone, and that's I think the most important thing here. The colors, they've grown on me. I wasn't real wild about them when I started, but I think they are perfectly serviceable. And if they bother you for some reason, you can always get Nancy's leather case to put on it.
Which, by the way, I should have said is for 5 and 5S.
Oh, okay.
I should have said that. Yeah.
Okay, so then you can't get Nancy's case, but you can find cases. I mean, so that's not a big deal. But I think this is a pretty darn decent value for a new iPhone that at a price that is a bit more affordable than the top of the line 5S.
Absolutely.
So, what'd you say, Mike?
I said absolutely. A very serviceable iPhone.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think if you've been on the bubble, go and take another look at it. Keep in mind if the colors bother you, that shouldn't be an issue. Yeah, covered up. But you've got great cameras, you've got great Wi-Fi, you've got good value on the memory, the whole thing. So 5C, go get them. Guys, we have time for one more round.
I think so.
Everybody on? Okay.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Nancy, how about if we let you start this last one?
Okay. This gift is for anybody that who likes to sing, thinks they can sing, wish they could sing, likes karaoke.
Sings and they shouldn't.
Yeah. Yeah, but you can do it. Well, it depends on how much they've had to drink. It's made by Philips, and I actually found this on the Apple website when I was looking for door prizes for our December general meeting for our user group. It is the microphone and a Bluetooth speaker. And it works with an app that's free called Karaoke Plus Auto-Tune. But there are a lot of in-app purchases that are available, even though the app is free, depending on what kind of music you like and what you'd like to have to go with it with the karaoke. My first thought when I saw this is it's $99.95. What a great gift for kids, teenagers to like to sing. They recommend that you can even cut your own CDs and do your, samples if you're trying to be a pro. I don't know how good it would be for that, but for general use, it's really a cool product.
So is this primarily for karaoke or is a PA system?
Well, it's primarily for karaoke, primarily for singing. They don't recommend it in any way as a PA system. It's just, and I have not, because I bought this for a door prize. It's not like I could open it up and play with it, test it out, and wear it out a little bit, and then say, "Oh, here's your door prize." So I have looked at the app, and I love to sing, and it's. I would like to. I hope I win this door prize. Let me put it this way. It's a really cool thing for a Christmas gift, and if you have families that like to get together and sing, I think it would be great fun. My father was a guitar and banjo player, and we used to have not rap sessions. That's common now. Daddy played the banjo.
I think jam sessions.
Yeah. Thank you, jam sessions. And we just had the best time doing that kind of thing, and it would have been so much more fun if we had something like this to add to it.
Nancy, what's the name of that microphone again?
It's Star. Oh, thank you. I didn't mention it. It's called Star Maker. StarMaker. And of course, we'll have the links in the show notes. But
Nancy, is this a good time to point out that if, as I recall, your user group meets in a bar?
We do. We do meet in a bar. Yes, indeed, we do.
So about halfway through the meeting, karaoke becomes an option?
Absolutely. a little tap dancing, some poetry. Yes, we do. I don't know if there's any other user group that meets in the bar, but we've been doing it for we're coming up on 3 years of meeting there, and we usually have about 80 people at a meeting, so we have to have a big room with free parking and a free room. So they're delighted to have us because we all spend money, and we're delighted to be there because they have built-in screens and all kind of stuff. So yeah, I highly recommend it.
I'm going to have to see if I can recommend that to. I don't know if you know Andy Sakaha from the Mac and Tech users group here, but I'll have to recommend that to her because I would attend their meetings if they were held in a bar.
Yes. Yeah. We used to meet on the University of Texas campus, and it was just hideous because people had to park and pay to park in the garage and walk 3 blocks to the building, and now they just pull up right in front. And yeah, I highly recommend it.
Cool.
Very nice.
It's a very nice bar. It's a restaurant. It's Sherlock's Baker Street Pub. I don't know if they have them all over the country. I know they have them here in Texas. It's a lovely place to meet.
Steve?
Actually, it's kind of funny because I'm going to bring this one up. It was something, all the rest of mine have all been like $200 and up. So this is something that actually starts at $19.99 for the iPhone 4, 4S, 5, or 5S. And they also recently came out with a version for the iPad mini. Now, what this is not really a protective case. But if you take a look at this, I don't know if you can see that really well there. This is an iPad mini, and you'll notice that there's a kind of a cutout up here on this little thing. This is called a slip stopper, and this was originally a product that was going to be made just for the iPhones, and it was a Kickstarter. They got some money for it. Well, it's made out of material, and you'll notice I'm sliding my finger across this pretty easily. It's not sticky or anything like that, but it has some properties to it, material properties that are just phenomenal. I can put this on, for instance, a desktop or something, and try to move the iPad sideways, and it's just going to stay there. So, for instance, I took this today, this iPad mini, stuck it on the dashboard of my car, and drove. And, okay, I drive like a maniac. I was going around corners, and this thing was just sitting on the dashboard. It wouldn't move. The other thing that's really cool about it, and I have a video that's going to be on I think, tomorrow. But believe it or not, I can take this and I can put it onto a window and it will stick to the window, and then you can just pop it right off. I don't know what this material is. I don't want to know, but I think it's one of the coolest little, inexpensive things that you could get for somebody. When you're carrying an iPad, you know how it tends to slip in your hand. It's not going to slip in your hand when you're holding this. And if you happen to have a need to stick an iPad mini to a window, you can do it. So that's Slip Stopper at slipstopper.com, $19.99 for the iPhone and $29.99 for the iPad mini.
Question, Steve. How does it work on your clothing? If you were sitting and you were...
It's not working.
Okay. I asked that question because I destroyed my iPad mini a couple of weeks ago.
No.
Because I take care of a 17-month-old, so I sleep when I can. So when he took his nap, I sat down to read with my iPad mini and promptly fell asleep. And the doorbell rang, and I jumped up to answer it, and my iPad fell underneath my couch. And I thought, it's no big deal. I'll just move the couch and get it. When I'm y'all are all smarter than I am. So it looks like somebody hit it with a ball peen hammer. I mean, it's completely totally destroyed. But so that's what prompted my question. I wondered if I had something like that, if it would have helped.
No, I think it's much better with really, really smooth surfaces. I just stuck it to my iPhone or iMac screen here while we were talking just to see if it would do it. Sure enough, I've got this, I had it. It's stuck to my screen. And I pull it off.
Well, see, that makes me feel better because I didn't know about it. So I would have destroyed my iPad.
You would have said, it'll stick onto my clothing.
Right.
Well, only if you were wearing really slick clothing.
That's and Steve, that would have been the thing that I would have thought of it right away for is, can I put it on my dash and drive around with it? Because you can't do that with any other iPad case. So
and it worked. I was, like I said, totally shocked about it. And it was one of these things when I saw the Kickstarter initially, I was kind of like, who cares? And the owner of the company was persistent, let's put it that way, and sent this one. And today I just was looking for something to write about. I stuck it on here, and I'm trying it out. It ended up being one of my, favorite little things I've seen probably in the last month. I love material, engineering anyway. So this is cool. I'm going to stick this back in my iMac there.
Very nice.
There we go.
I like that.
Mike, this is your last chance. What do you got?
My last chance. Well, I've already talked about most of the things on my list, so I have to go with the occasional. What's the word I'm looking for? Frivolous or sort of fun little gift. My wife is a huge Doctor Who fan and is an avid watcher of the series. And of course, if you're looking for branded sci-fi merchandise, whether it's a Star Wars Tauntaun sleeping bag or Minecraft pickaxes and swords, the place to go is thinkgeek.com. And so I was looking at ThinkGeek earlier and found a Doctor Who TARDIS tea strainer. So for loose tea, in the shape of a little silver British police box that you can dip into your hot water, and of course, like any true TARDIS, it is bigger on the inside. So it combines two things my wife really loves, which are Doctor Who and tea, and I think it's going to be a lovely little gift for the holidays.
You have redeemed yourself, Steve. Now
I've gone
that's
from
romance.
the Drobo to spitting in a cup to a police box shaped tea strainer, and this is redemption.
That's redemption.
Awesome. Good. I didn't know what redemption smelled like until this very moment.
It smells like hot tea.
Smells like Earl Grey.
Well, when he said something about the Tauntaun sleeping bag, I was going to say, and I thought they smelled bad on the outside.
Yeah.
They smell bad on the outside, but they're bigger on the inside.
Oh, gosh.
I don't know if any of you gentlemen have ever gone to the website Etsy, ETSY, or yeah. There's a guy, he actually lives in Austin, who makes wall clocks are desk clocks shaped like the TARDIS.
Oh,
They're very
man.
nice. Yeah, they're very nice, and they're not expensive.
There is a bar in Brooklyn that is a Doctor Who themed bar. I have yet to visit it. Actually, I've been there once, but I've yet to really go and appreciate it. I think it would have been a great place to watch the 50th anniversary episode this weekend. Didn't occur to us to do it, but it's worth, if you're a fan, it's worth checking out.
They were probably stacked up, Mike. You'd probably had to pay a premium to get in the door.
Just to get in the door, yeah. Probably
Yeah.
stacked
But it's
like
huge on the inside.
But it's
It's
usually
much bigger than this.
Unlimited room.
Oh, we're verging on self-parody. Some of us, in my case, already passed.
Well, I'm going to take from my last pick. I'm going to reach up here and get it. This is the Zero Chroma iPhone case, and it does fit the 5S because I had this for my 5 and I dropped the 5S in. It's no problem. Very low profile, as you can see. Doesn't add much bulk at all. I guess it's a neoprene material of some kind. A couple little grips on the side, but this claim to fame. I like cases for my iPad and my iPhones that prop up. So it's got a little thing, and that's what you can hear. It's got a little kickstand that'll drop it down, and that's it. So it adds no appreciable bulk to the phone. Gives me that. But the really cool thing is that it will rotate and lock into place, and now I can also put it in portrait as well, or excuse me, landscape as well as portrait. And then when I'm done, just fold it right back up and go.
Who makes it?
Zero Chroma.
Oh, yeah, you said that.
Zero
Okay.
Chroma. It's just, it's and there was some question over whether it would obstruct the camera. With the new iPhones, it does not. I just went from old iPhone to new iPhone, put it in, and it's absolutely my favorite case because it gives it a little bit of protection, but it's functional. It gives me that little easel tripod kind of thing that I value so much in iPhone and iPad cases.
Sweet.
Yeah. Well, guys, that is a pretty eclectic bunch of gifts, I must say.
It's true.
It's very nice. Very nice.
Including spitting in a bottle.
Cup.
A cup.
Sing in a bottle, yeah. The sing box set.
You need the karaoke machine now.
I really do. It all comes together.
Yeah.
Mike, I think your reputation has been made by this episode right here alone.
Oh boy, I worked so hard to get where I am today, and I just threw it all away. It's amazing.
No, I frankly, I think there'd be some people who'll have you on a pedestal.
Stapled there. But
A
nonetheless,
spit covered.
you can't get away. A spit covered Thunderbolt powered pedestal. Well, Chuck, thank you so much for having me on the show. I really appreciate it.
No, Mike, it's great. Nancy, it's wonderful to see you as always. Thanks for being here.
My great pleasure.
Steve, what can I say? You have been a great friend, and it's always fun to see you. Thanks so much for being here.
Well, thanks for having me on. And I tell you, it worked out perfectly this evening. And I just happened to be thinking about gifts anyway. So this was perfect.
Great. Well, I think Nancy was the one that said it. I'll have links in the show notes to everything that was picked here so that you can go and get one for yourself, get one for your loved one, or get one for some stranger that you just met. Who knows?
Or donate a door prize to your local Mac users group.
There you go.
Here.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go. Folks, I'm Chuck Joyner, and this is Mac Voices, the talk of the Mac community. We'll be back again soon with another gift guide because we're going to try to do these every week or so right up to Christmas. Until the next time, thanks for watching. Visit MacVoices.com for links, show notes, to subscribe, to connect with Chuck on Twitter, app.net, Google+, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Subscribe to our weekly newsletter, the Mac Voices Dispatch, to stay up to date with all the latest Mac Voices news from our front page or at macvoices.com/newsletter. Advertising and sponsorships handled by Backbeat Media at backbeatmedia.com. And we're out.
The recording has been stopped.
You people are crazy.
Why, yes, we are. Thank you very much.
Yes, we are.